If Japan truth. How harmful is the discharge of river wastewater in the Pacific Ocean? Just a few days ago, Nihon River sewage drainage tunnel starts water filling. Less than 10 years after water injection, the river will spread to the entire Pacific Ocean. At that time, Japan will be the first to suffer. Also, other countries along the Pacific Ocean will also be implicated. Know that the ocean is the most important part of the planet. Without the ocean, there would be no human beings. After the ocean is polluted, human beings can't stay out of it. Is there no other solution in Japan? Don't do this outrageous thing. The same harmony. Why did Bailey, the Soviet pro-slave, remain silent? And after 10 years of tutoring, it still hasn't been resolved. There have been 2 nuclear leaks in human history. The Chernobyl accident in the Soviet Union in 1986. Once was Fukushima Harmony Dragon in Japan in 2013. Both were level 7 nuclear accidents, the highest level. If you want to eliminate the impact, it can take hundreds of years or tens of thousands of years. Can say how to handle level 7 and accidents. It just depends on whether the conscience of this country is black or not. 2 very different ways of dealing with the Soviet Union and Japan. Let the world judge them differently. However, in some countries, the Soviet Union, which fought all over the country, became the embodiment of evil. Japan, where rivers and rivers drain into the sea, became a messenger of justice. Why is that? After the Chernobyl river spill, the Soviet Union sacrificed tens of thousands to seal the nuclear reaction. But there's still danger inside. Only drain the cooling water. To solve this crisis. Then 3 people stood up. They lead the way and open the door. One person takes care of. Exit smoothly after completing the task. They came out without flowers and applause. Because everyone knows its work and responsibility. In addition, cleaning up nuclear waste is also an important task. More than 10,000 volunteers actively signed up. At that moment they saw death as home. After 45 days, the Hefei fertilizer was finally cleaned up. The price is that volunteers in Lingen lost 10 years of life. 30% of them didn't even live to be 40. Later the Soviet Union built a cement slab there. Complete blockade of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. However, after the collective Soviet Union, the situation reversed instantly. Same river leak. Why the Soviet Union sacrificed 500,000 people to save the world. But Japan will die with the world. The countries of Europe and the United States have sent out what happened to the country of that year, and erased the credit for the USSR. Those officers and soldiers who are not afraid of sacrifice, smeared as insensitive slaves. The political commissar and Communist Party member, who struggled heroically, became a dull leader like a pig, and ubiquitous violence. And in previous years of tutoring and accidents, showed a completely different attitude. In 2011, a magnitude 9 earthquake hit Japan. Fukushima nuclear power plant hit by earthquake, hydrogen explosion. It was supposed to be a level 3 nuclear accident. Doesn't do any harm at all if handled properly. But because of Japan's lies and concealment, a non-serious nuclear accident. From level 3 to level 7. After discovering serious problems, Japan just started injecting water into reactors to cool them down. This is how nuclear waste water is produced. If Japan could inject water to cool down the reactor before it exploded, there will not be so much nuclear waste water. In addition, if Japan can send someone to open the valve to lower the pressure, also avoid reaction to explosion. But until the end no one stood up. They just watched the Harmony Dragon happen. It's good now. Japan's storage and wastewater have reached their limits. Only then did I come up with convenience. A solution that saves effort and money. That's the Pacific pillar of discharge. Hygiea playfully claims that river wastewater is discharged around the ocean. It's an act of desperation. We have no choice, and ensure that the river sewage has been treated cleaner than pure rice. Can drink directly. Actually, hand-holding a glass of processed puffer water in Japan, I didn't dare to drink it for half a day. Actually, river wastewater can also be disposed of under the land. River wastewater from the Chernobyl accident in the USSR. It's all buried deep in the ground. But the country of the Soviet Union is huge. It's okay to give up a part. Japan's land area is small. I don't want to give up this land. Adhering to the blessing of being alone. The spirit of being difficult for everyone. Determined to discharge Hefei water into the ocean. However, entertainment in Europe and the United States not only does not run wild, on the contrary, I admire. For example, U.S. Secretary of State Blinken praised Japan's decision to discharge nuclear wastewater is open and transparent. It is hoped that the Japanese government will continue to cooperate with the IAEA. Stay cooperative. Why did the Soviet Union? America is treating on the issue of the treatment of nuclear wastewater by the Soviet Union and Japan, staged a large-scale double standard scene. What is the root cause behind this? If Japan discharges river wastewater in the Pacific Ocean, then the first to suffer is Japan. However, Japanese counseling is facing the North Pacific Gyre. Therefore, Hefei water will drift in the direction of the United States. Only after turning around will it come to harm China. The United States seems to be under pressure. I don't care about the impact of Hefei water on myself. Very sure of the Japanese approach. Why does the United States do this? One theory is the Soviet Union. It's okay to want him to smear. And Japan still has value. That's why the United States will help, support. This statement is right, but still not quite. The United States is not only against the Soviet Union, but also against China. He said the Japanese government is transparent, actually but alluding to China. Information opacity during the epidemic prevention period. Government hides the truth. The reason for this is because of the Mesopotamian Cold War. During that period there were two camps, or join you may. The capitalist camp led by the state. Either join. The socialist camp headed by the Soviet Union. Whoever says neutral. Then these two big countries may take the lead. Destroy it. Although there is a little friction between China and the Soviet Union, but adopting socialism to rule the country, it is the biggest position of a country. If the United States at that time dared to double standards, the head will be knocked off by the Soviet Union. Now the Soviet Union has collapsed. With the propaganda of capitalism, socialism has become synonymous with evil. They wiped without hesitation, black everything that can be blackened. Japan is a member of the capitalist family. Have you ever thought about challenging the authority of the United States? Don't you just want to pour some river waste into the Pacific Ocean? This is not as important as the father-son relationship between the two countries. There's no need to break it for such a trivial matter. And at this time, the United States dared to blatantly double standards because there is no enemy like the USSR. Of course, the United States does not object. It does not mean that other capitalist countries do not object. Facing Japan's plan to discharge nuclear pollution into the sea, citizens in South Korea continued to hold collective protests. At the same time, South Korea's largest Democratic Party launched a counter-signature campaign. Over 100,000 people participated in just 3 days. Any Pacific Rim country. We should all unite to give Japan medicine. Their shameless behavior on the shame table of history can't get down.